Sometimes for something to be successful, you have to not know what you're getting into. If you know too much, that might stop you from ever doing as Yana puts it, the crazy thing. You just kind of got to go with your gut and go with your passion and just say, okay, we'll figure it out as we go.
I was recently on a panel. It was about networking within the writing community, like how do you do that? And what was so cool was that everyone on the panel I had met at a different stage throughout the Porch, and have a deeper connection to and have helped foster their writing just as much as they've helped foster mine. And it's been such a beautiful give and take.
I think one thing that the Porch does that feels the most important to me is that it keeps Nashville, which is growing, it keeps it feeling like a small town.
The staff at the Porch are like the creative fairy godmothers for Nashville. They're just I feel lucky to be a part of this community and to have been a part of this community for as long as I have.
It is not good for man to be alone is the adage, and I think that it is not good for a writer to be alone. After one class at the Porch, I felt like I had found my people or my place.
I love it when we wrap up the class and nobody wants to leave. And if my students are sitting there being like, I just need to wrap up this one thing. Oh, I can't wait, I have to get home as soon as possible so I can work on this writing exercise or finish this thought that I had. And taking that energy out into the world, the supreme experience.
When I think about it in the simplest terms, we are a space for writers to learn from one another and to practice their craft, to be amongst other writers and readers, a community building, educational resource. When I just found myself thinking this is something this could be something more, this could be a bigger endeavor, but I'm not exactly sure how to do it. And then things really started to take off when I met Katie in a writing group and started pitching some of my ideas to her. And she's a tenacious person. She is a real go-getter. And she was like, yeah, let's make this happen.
There were a lot of stars aligning when we talk about the genesis of the Porch. Susanna and I serendipitously ended up in this writing group together, and she invited me to have coffee and invited me to be part of this experience of trying to start this thing. Who knew if it would fly, And I was at a time in my life where I said, yeah, let's do it. And later that night, after she had invited me, I went, oh my God, that's the thing that I had sort of envisioned. And I had written about it in my journal, and I do think it goes back to sort of the power of writing. I mean, the power of the written word. You take these ideas and you make them, put them on paper, and then they exist in some sort of form.
For the first time in my life, around that time, the early inkling days of the Porch, I remember telling my friend, it all makes sense suddenly. Everything that I've been doing up until this point suddenly makes sense to me. I've been prepping myself for this all along, but I didn't realize it.
There's that quote, Thoreau, about having castles in the sky. Now you just have to build the foundation. And so I feel like I had the castle in the sky, and Susanna did too. And then, I don't know, we built the foundations.
Yeah, I've been a part of so many different kinds of ways to be at the Porch. So you can be at the Porch as a reader, or be at the Porch as a writer, be at the Porch as a listener, You can be at an event that's not even here in this space, but sponsored by the Porch, from Yazoo Brewing or the Bookshop or Parnassus. They just are constantly partnering with organizations around Nashville and bringing literature into the community, which is where it lives.
The partnerships that we have worked really hard to create and sustain have also played a role in keeping the community really diverse. We've just worked with so many different groups in and around Nashville, and that word of mouth power is so powerful. So I feel like that has just kind of kept the source from which we draw our students has kept the sources wide.
One of the only ways an organization can survive is to recognize and partner with other organizations. And even if it seems to have nothing to do with what we're doing, I think it's important to just continue reaching across different interests and different locations and different groups and see what sticks.
I was a student doing workshops and retreats and then going to readings and things like that. Probably just a few years ago, started co-teaching the summer camp with Joe Kane, which is a lot of fun. Being able to develop, create a safe space and just seeing imagination run wild in those kids and being there with them and having fun with them is just a wonderful memory and things that I hope to continue doing that.
It's okay to be scared and do it scared. If you're on the fence about something, that's okay. Come down off the fence, because fences aren't meant to support weight like that.
It does feel like a neighborhood where, it's the summer and you're still maybe even a kid and you can still just go outside and see who's outside and wants to play kind of thing. And ride bikes or do something and it's getting dark out and the fireflies, just you can just go outside and see who's out there right now and to play. So it's a space to play.
So even people who sit down with me and are saying, well, I'm not a writer. I don't write. But I just thought I had a free couple hours and I'll see what this is all about. Leaving saying, I don't know, maybe I do have something to write. Maybe I do have a story to tell.
I don't know, I like geeking out with people who love language, and that's what ends up happening. That's what ends up happening in the classes, is that you're there with people, you're with your people. Whether I'm teaching or taking a class, I always feel like I'm with my people when I'm here at the Porch. And I love that as a teacher, and I love that as a student as well.